All right, guys, welcome. All right, guys, welcome. Let's get started. So, right here, the first thing that you're going to be in once you get into your back end is the Launchpad. And that is going to tell you to add the Lead Connector app. The Lead Connector app is the mobile app for GoHighLevel. So, you have what's called white labeling, gray labeling, and I don't know what black label is. So there are these things called white labeling and black labeling. If you haven't heard it, white labeling is what I'm doing here. So there's a company, they're called GoHighLevel. They explain, or they provide this service to people. I have purchased the software. I have purchased the software at a tier that allows me to resell it, and that lets me brand it on my own. So I could tell you, hey, this is LBKH Solution Software. In reality, it is GoHighLevel, and I have added some things to it, right? I'm adding a couple of automations and a couple of, let's call them relief workflows to get people through things, and it's just stuff that I've added from my experience. In my experience, when I have shopped from other companies or from GoHighLevel or from Course Creator Pro or whatever, these people will all tell you it's the same thing I'm telling you, that they think, hey, these are the best practices for doing this. But some people are going to drill down on the courses. School is this way, if you've heard of School. Some people are going to drill down on the advertising aspects. Some people are going to drill down on the website building aspect. Some people are going to drill down on the funnel aspect. I want you to have complete knowledge of everything that's available to you so that you can use all those tools going forward. Now, what we've probably talked about is making a website and getting this software that's going to keep you connected. There's a lot more that goes into it when you're talking about SEO, backlinking, metadata, and advertising. So we'll get into that later. That's all separate. I will talk about it in different courses. However, for my offers, those are generally add-on services. I offer them a la carte, and we can talk about it if you need it. So on this page, this is going to be a bunch of stuff that you want to connect, right? Complete your Google My Business, your Facebook ads, your web chat widget. So I don't have one on this site yet. Integrating WhatsApp, Stripe. Stripe's going to be our payment gateway. Yext. I don't really use Yext. This is a marketing tool, though. WordPress, if you want to use WordPress hosting, and adding team members. So you can connect any of that stuff that you have hooked up already. I do not have a Google My Business because this is a digital business and it's set for a location. If I set this to Montana Tattoo Company, all of this stuff is set up. I still don't have a chat widget because I'm trying to generate one. We're going to do that in a course here. And I am going to make that on my own instead of using theirs. So let's go to now for your business setup. What we're going to be looking for here is this settings tab right here at the bottom. And so we click on settings and that opens up this extra window. And right here at the top is business profile. So you're going to want to make your business logo. This is going to be 350 by 180 pixels. We want to save that information for later because tomorrow, I think it's day 2, when we do your branding, we're going to want to know all the sizes that we need. So you see how this isn't fitting in here, right? We're going to come through tomorrow and do these actions and set all of these so that they're right. So in this instance, we want a 350 pixel to 180 pixel ratio. And that is going to just make sure everything fits in these nice boxes right where they go just right. There's a few places that we're going to need different sizes along the way. I'm going to give those to you, and we're going to make some logos that fit all of these places. And this is going to ask you all of your information. What's your business called? What is the legal name of your business? So if you have an exact legal name, or if you've registered for your EIN yet, then this is what you're going to want to put in here. If that says LLC or if that has weird spacing in it or anything like that, all of that goes right here. We want to know your business email. If you haven't set that up, we can come back to it. But again, that's going to be preferably not a gmail.com. And we can set that up in just a bit. Your business phone. So this for me is one of the phone numbers that I already got, and we're going to do that portion in a few days. That's one thing that we're going to have to come back also. We're going to talk about what a branded domain is later. Actually, let me do this. Branded domain. So your branded domain is going to be a domain that incorporates your brand name directly. Essentially using your product name as the website address. So for us, that would be montanatattoocompanY.com. I'm going to add the domain. Only subdomains are allowed. Enter name records in the brand domain. Oh, so this is going to be brand. Sorry about that. brand.montanatattoocompanY.com or tattooappointments.montanatattoocompanY.com. So currently I am not running this in a way that will be for everybody, as it was in the past. So we leave that alone. But you can see over here my branded domain is business.lbkhsolutions.com, and as you add these, you're going to have to go back and forth to your hosting to you'll have to go back to your hosting to add your CNAME records. It's going to ask you what your business website is, what your niche is. You're going to make an API key. These are keys that you need across the web for different projects. We'll get into that part later. They want to know your physical address. You're going to put your city, state, country. You know how to do this. Who is your authorized representative? I am, sir. What is my cell phone number? What is your business type, your industry? Business registration ID type, business registration number. All the basics. Over here in general, like if you want call or voicemail settings, you'll be able to click that button. Over here in general, you are going to want to allow duplicate opportunities. Sometimes people come through twice and it won't let them enter the workflow or the opportunity twice. So you want to allow duplicate opportunities. You're going to want to merge Facebook contacts by their name. You don't want to disable the contact time zone. I like using the contact time zone. We have a lot of people that fly in for services, so you want to know what's going on in every time zone. I also have a lot of people that I talk to online. Maybe I've talked to you and we're not in the same time zone. Leaving this deselected is going to make sure that their time zone is listed. Bot detection prevention. Bot detection prevention statistics increment and automation execution. So if a bot is detected opening or clicking on an email, the marketing email open or click counter will not click it, right? So if a person has a bot in their email, or if you send an email to a bot, it doesn't go against your stats. Mark emails as valids due to So marking emails as invalid after a hard bounce means that the email was deemed invalid due to permanent reasons, which means it just got kicked back, the address was wrong, something like that. And what will happen is that if that ever happens to you, their email is going to be marked invalid immediately. And this will save you from sending multiple emails to addresses that don't exist. Gather intelligence on unknown phone numbers. That means that if somebody's never called you before, it's going to try to get their name and whatever information you can. And verifying an email address when the first email is sent to a new client. That means it's just checking. It's kind of like the hard bounce thing. If it makes it through, then we're going to go ahead and say that it was verified. If it gets kicked out, then we're going to say that it's not verified or invalid. This is where you can do your texting compliance settings. We're going to deal with that in a couple of days. To make your emails and text compliant, you have to have an unsubscribe link so that they can turn it off, right? That's what this whole thing is about. So we're going to want to make this compliant by adding an unsubscribe link in our email. And here is a link to customize that message. And then as far as duplicate contacts, I've had a lot of problems with duplicate contacts or not being able to get people in because they're already in. Maybe they used a different name. It generally goes by phone number and email. You can have the same name in multiple times. You can't use the same email twice. You can't use the same phone number twice. So allowing duplicate contacts means that everybody's going to get into the workflow, and you're going to be... So allowing duplicate contacts means that everybody's going to be allowed to get into your contacts, and then you're going to be able to select and merge them all together. Your profile, this is you, whoever's running the business, right? So my name is Mickey, last name Schlick, this is my email, my phone number, my extension. My calendar is my Zoom calendar. All of them. I won't do all of them. Okay. So let's do calendar personal. Platform language is English. You can change your password, reset your password, confirm your password, sign out everywhere, set up your two-way email provider. This is your email two-way sync. So you're going to want to select your email provider and let's see, how do I connect? Boom. Connect your email. Lead connector for Gmail can access everything. Send email on my behalf, view my messages. Great. That's perfect. And we're going to continue. So now it doesn't even matter that I set this up in the hosting, and my emails will come to this address as well. Auto BCC, add your smart BCC address. Okay, so this is your blind, what is BCC in? Auto BCC, this means your blind carbon copy link. So if you're sending emails to multiple people and you want to keep your address masked, this is where you can add your smart BCC to the address, to the CC or BCC field when sending an email from Gmail or Outlook to automatically add this conversation and contact in the CRM. So what you're going to want to do, so what this does is you copy this address and you put it in the field for carbon copy or for CC or BCC in your email. So if you go into Gmail and you are sending out an email and you want that person's data captured within your CRM system, this is the email that you're going to want to connect. This is the email that you're going to want to tag in there. Calendar settings. So this is where you set up your calendar. I have my main calendar for Mickey at LBKH Solutions set up in there. It has all my Zoom calendars connected. It has all my tattoo calendars connected. All of those calendars connect to a just general appointment calendar. And so as all of those calendars book appointments or try to book appointments, what they should find in that calendar is that, if somebody books me for a Zoom call for this, or if somebody books me for a service at the tattoo shop or something like that, it will block it out of my availability across all calendars. That's very important. Your linked calendars, your conflict calendars. You can see here that my linked calendar is my appointment calendar, and my conflict calendar that it's checking for conflicts is the same. Private mode for synced events. I like to hide the event details. That way other people, when they're looking at the calendar, can't really see it. But I do, when we set up the calendar, we're going to use tags so that as much possible information about the client and the project is going into the calendar booking. We want them to know what's going on. We want you to know what's going on. And when you wake up in the morning and you just check your calendar, you haven't even gotten into here yet, or into your lead connector yet. We want you to have all the information that you're going to have to do that day, and we can make it so all that information actually sits in your calendar. Meeting location for me is custom. For you, it might be, oh look, I like this one, Zoom, Mickey at LBKH Solutions. So we'll just do custom because that can change. For me, sometimes I'm tattooing on the road, sometimes I am building websites on the road, sometimes I'm doing a lot of stuff over Zoom. There's just a lot of different options, so I keep it custom, and I make sure that I'm talking to the people about that as they go. But you can also set the location. That way when it goes into your calendar, that meeting location is already set. Available hours. So this is going to be your overall availability that will connect with the other calendar, with the Gmail calendar. This is not going to be the availability in the calendars you set up. This is just the availability of the users. So for me, what I do is I select every day, and I select more time than I'm actually open, so that it's all available. I definitely do have off hours for this business. Noon to 7 is mostly what I do. And we're going to deal with that later. The reason I turn on every day, Saturday and Sunday included, is because you can come over here to your Google Calendar and use these big blocks of time to block off. So what I will normally do is I open up every day and make sure every day is bookable. And then if I'm taking off Mondays and Tuesdays this quarter, or my kid is doing soccer and needs me off on Saturdays, I can slide these blocks around, and that will repeat and get in the way of all future bookings, so that it just makes it a little bit easier to change things later. Otherwise, if you have a change in your schedule, you have to go back and change it in your availability on every calendar. I don't really like doing it that way. I kind of like doing it this way a little bit more. There's a bunch of ways for you to do it. We'll get into that when we get to the calendar part. We'll deal with that when we get to the calendar section. And then that's that. Billing. This is going to be, how you set up your billing, make your payments, what your wallet is, how, please update my billing address. So this is where you set up your subscriptions, your payments, and your wallet, right? So if you want to have a couple of different cards in there. So essentially this is going to be where you deal with your subscription and set up your payment methods. Pretty basic. Your staff, this is going to be the people that work for you. So like I said, some people you're not going to want to have access at all to anything. Some people you do want to have access to everything. If you're going to want to put yourself in here as a staff member, and then you're going to want to come in here and set everything up. So you have your profile, and that's like the profile of the owner of the business. This is in here twice because I'm my only staff member, but you can have a few staff members depending on your subscription tier. You're going to set up your first name, last name, email, phone number. All that's real easy to do. Select the calendar. So this is going to be this calendar, different email signature. What I will do is come over here, my profile. I didn't update my profile. Bummer. LBKH dot solutions. 406 616 606 6616, and then we're gonna go Mickey at lbkhsolutions.com. Boom. I'm going to add this link here. Save. New window. New window, zoom. Save. And then, where were we with the photo? It'd be easier to find in here. Nope. Let's do this because I like it. Copy link, and we'll just make that, even though it's probably a little bit too busy for what we want right now. And we're going to set the width to 100 this time. And we want this paste the link to open on clicking an image. And we're going to go to http://mickeyschrake.com. Open it in a new window. Save. And so this is what our email signature is going to look like. And we want to definitely hit this update. I messed that up last time. Now we want to copy all of this. Come over here to my staff. In my... Oh, cool, look, and it's already propagated. Enable this on all outgoing emails. Great. Calendar. Personal. Next. Now we have permissions. So these are all the permissions that you have, and you can copy these to a person. So what you're going to want to do is start with your top level employees that are admins, have access to everything yourself, basically. And then if you have a next person, you can copy all those permissions to them. It's probably all selected. You're going to have two different roles. One is going to be admin, which is administrator. You get to do everything. And one is a user. So that's basically like your staff, whereas the client is the client. The service provider is a user. And you're going to have access to turn on all of this stuff for them. So I'm the account owner. I have all records. I can also transfer ownership. I don't have anybody to transfer the ownerships to. So what this would mean is, like, if I've set this up for you, then I set my whole everything up where I have all the permission, and I can go turn everything on and off and make sure it all works. And then when we get to the end of that, I can transfer that ownership over to you. So you would have an identical account, and then you would just be known as the owner after that. View and manage account settings, tags, settings, members, account tools. So Eliza is going to be one of the chat bots, content AI. You're not going to want everybody in your organization to get in here and mess with some of this stuff. You're going to want to have pretty tight control over who has access to what. Automations, meaning campaigns, workflows, triggers, blogs, calendars. You don't want anybody getting in and reading, viewing, messing up anybody else's calendar. Certificates, usually only the owner is going to be dealing with certificates, and communities and contacts. View and manage contacts, bulk contacts. So there is a setting in here for to make sure that different service providers can only get to their own information. So like they would only have access within Lead Connector in their app for their clients who are trying to reach out to them, or who have already connected with them, or the conversations that they're having, and not the next artist. So sometimes when messages start coming in for a whole business, they might be coming in for a 6-person team, and that's a lot for anybody to deal with, even your front end person now. So the more that we can make it so that the software organizes the people the more we can make it so that the software organizes the client underneath the user, the better and less confusion there is, and that allows the user to maintain all of their own communications. The reason this is beneficial in doing this all from the app is that if one day something happens, the world blows up, and you got to part ways, you can just delete that person as a user in your lead connector, and they will have no access to any of that stuff, right? That's also what makes it dangerous for us as a service provider, is that you want to have all of that information so that if one day you have to sever ties or something happens, it's not like you're going into work and they're cutting you off from access to all the clients. That can be very dangerous for your career, and that is why I recommend that everybody has their own system like this. If you look at it as $100 a month insurance package to maintain your own client list, it's totally worth it. Once you add in the fact that all of your social media, everything comes to one inbox, even more so. So account tools, you have automations, blogs, calendars, certificates, communities, contacts, conversations, dashboards. I've done it a couple of different ways. Sometimes I don't look at my dashboards at all. And I've also made it so that each artist has their own dashboard. Now, when they log in with their credentials, they're going to have access to what you give them access to. So if you want them to see and know the phone call stats, the AdWords, the Facebook ads, the attributions, the agent reporting, all of that stuff, you can turn it on or off for them. My suggestion, turn it off. They don't need to know it. They don't need to mess with it. It's not that big of a deal. They need to be connected with their clients and go back to the work that they love to do, right? So even if you're a business owner and you're taking on all this work, it's probably not worth it to teach it to people who don't want to know it. You can either provide this service for them, or they can get on it on their own, or you can split it up any way you like. But I would suggest that you choose carefully what permissions you give them, and for as long as possible, you only give them access to their own information, right? You never know what's going to happen. You never know whose feelings are going to get hurt or what's going to go on. You don't want those people having access to come in and mess with your business or your connection to your clients. Funnels, we're going to deal with that in a few days. Marketing, all of this stuff, your media storage, your memberships. Now, you want them to be able to add to media storage, but you might not want them to be able to take from it. Generally, there's so much that goes in here, in your media storage and your contacts and everything. Nobody's going in to dig through all the conversations. Nobody's going in to dig through all the media. However, that is a security bottleneck that you want to keep live, right? You want to make sure that if you give these people access to your stuff, then you're responsible for what happens to it, or at least you're somewhat culpable in the chain of events. Memberships, payments, like I said, as an admin, you're going to want all this stuff. As a user, you probably want them to have none of it. Reputation management, WordPress. WordPress is a sore subject right now. My tattoo shop website is on WordPress. I've gone to and from WordPress a few times. They're supposed to have great SEO because the way their blogs are set up. However, I don't think that they're so far off from what GHL is offering in-house to be worth it. However, you can set up a WordPress website and access it through GHL or through LBKH Solutions. Call and voicemail settings, right? So for me, default channel for Ring, mobile app, IVR, mobile app, default is web app. So we're going to want to, let's see, select phone number, inbound number. This is my number. I don't know why there's two of them in here. This is only required if the user needs a dedicated number, not required for voicemail or routing call to assigned users. So if you just want to forward the calls to your phone number, you can do that. And you can text people back if you want to, and you don't need any kind of green light to do that, right? But if those people call the number you've set up, then it will forward the calls to your number. Default channel for Ring All. So do you want all of your... So what we did is originally we had a cell phone number that was good for the business, right? And I did this because I thought that it was smart because if the front end person wanted to go get lunch or needed to go on a mission for an artist or whatever may have you, they were able to then they would be able to take the cell phone with them. What this will do is allow you to shut that cell phone number down, and you just keep this number for the business, and then everybody's phone can ring, right? If you want everybody's phone to ring at the business, and it says, hey, Montana Tattoo Company is calling, that means a client is calling. Answer it as if you were at Montana Tattoo Company, right? It's pretty easy. It makes things extremely easy to route numbers to, or route incoming calls to the prospective phone number. It makes things extremely easy to route incoming calls to the proper number for you to handle it on your end. Voicemail messages. We can upload your voicemail files. And what I like to do here is there's a company called 11 Labs. And if we look at their pricing, let's see, do we have a partnership? AI audio solutions, use cases, customer storage, conversational AI, bam, documents, pricing. So in their pricing, they have a free plan. That free plan is going to give you 10,000 credits, 10 minutes of ultra high quality text to speech per month. So I have an account here. I think I'm on the free account. This is going to give you, I need to go to this creator account. That's $22 a month. First month is half off. But for voicemail stuff, the free account is fine. So what you're going to do is go to the app, and you're going to look here in voices, and you can play all these different voices. And let's see if I can turn on. Let's see. Let's turn this up.
You got to be careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there.
I believe that we are fundamentally the same and have this.
Rather regret the things that I've done than the things that I've not done.
There is no greater harm.
Our distrust is very expensive.
So you can pick all of these. You can pick from all these different voices for whatever fits your business properly, and depending on your subscription tier, you're also depending on your subscription tier, you're also allowed to record your own voice, right? So you can add a couple of minutes of audio and have it uploaded. It will clone your voice, and then it makes it so much easier when you have to do stuff, because all you have to do is type it out properly and have it get generated. Now, the issue is if you don't have the script work out properly, then it might take you a couple times to get it right, and that's going to eat up your credits. So you only have 10 minutes to get it right the first time, and when we set up our call and voicemail settings, especially our workflows in the IVR, depending on how big your business is, that might be just the right amount. And if it takes you a month to set it up, then like I said, you get 10 free minutes every month, and you can definitely change your messages as you go without needing a an audio editing solution. So that's a great place for that, and you just get your message made. Let's see if we have mine. No. Home. Do I have Laura, Mickey? I don't know if it has my past projects. Conversational speech texts, dub video sound effects, podcast. So you can definitely, let's see where it is. You can clone your voice right here, and you can check out the voice collections, and then you can take that voice, and it also has edits in it, so you can change it around a little bit as you go, and then you just put in your text here, and it'll say this will end the call. Okay, yes, I do have some here. Let's see. History. Cool. So let's say we want to do.
Hello, and thank
This is our main one.
Montana Tattoo Company. We're proud. Hello, and thank you for calling Montana Tattoo Company. We're proud to be a fully disposable agency-style tattoo studio specializing in large-scale.
And then you would, let's see, and then you just download that and implement it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to come over here to ChatGPT. I need a voicemail script to sound warm and professional for my marketing business. My business is named LBKH Solutions, and we provide web and automation services to small businesses and service providers. So I might get into this a little bit deeper later, but let's see. This voice will be made in 11 labs with a female voice. I'm not sure if it matters, but you can do anything in here. You can clone, you can clone Mr. T. I'm sure I could have Donald Trump do something if I were to clone his voice, and maybe we'll deal with that in a different video. So ChatGPT is going to give me back this script, right? I'm going to copy and paste this script over here into 11 labs. We're going to say, and we want to generate the speech. So now I have 10,000 credits remaining for the month. This is 279 characters. I have out of 5,000 characters, and these characters are the same as credits. They don't really talk about that, but you'll notice that this will drop by 279 credits exactly. So what we want to do now is generate this speech. We're back down here to 729.
Your trusted partner for innovative web and automation services. I'm sorry.
Let me start this over.
You've reached LBKH Solutions, your trusted partner for innovative web and automation services. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for calling, and have a wonderful day.
Now, I didn't check that, and I don't like that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to change this to say, it helps us to have things in writing. I will follow up with you over text in just a couple of minutes. Thank you for calling and have just a wonderful day. Cool. So now we're going to generate that again. It's going to drop by another 284. So here it says credits, here it says characters. Doesn't matter. So now let's go ahead. So like I was saying, here it has, we've dropped by the exact number of credits as characters. So just FYI, however much you're typing in here and however many times you're re-rolling it to get a better solution, it's gonna start eating up your available time every month. So here we go. Let's play this from the beginning.
Hello, you've reached LBKH Solutions, your trusted partner for innovative web and automation services. I'm sorry I missed your call. It helps up to have things in writing. I will follow up with you over...
I misspelled. It helps us. It's another series of credits. So just know that you're going to want everything done right for the least amount of work. The more you mess up, the more it costs, right? That doesn't mean you have to get it perfect the first time. Just let it be
Hello,
known.
you've reached LBKH Solutions, your trusted partner for innovative web and automation services. I'm sorry I missed your call. It helps us to have things in writing. I will follow up with you over text in just a couple of minutes. Thank you for calling and have a wonderful day.
And I think that's about perfect. So for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to download this file. It has this long name that I don't really need, but I do know that it's the last file in my downloads calendar. So now we have that there, and if you call me, that is the message that you will receive. And this can be set for different users, actually. User availability. We've already set this up. Once you set it up, you can copy it, and you can split your time in a day. So if you want to say, hey, in this day, I'm available from 9 to 11. Oops. 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Nope, 11 a.m. And then again from, say I take a 2-hour lunch from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., right? Or 6 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. That's fine. Now I can copy this to every day, right? That way it's not done. That way I don't have to copy it and do it every time. So you're going to get this recurring theme, right? Which is put it in once, copy it 100 times, right? And it's going to work this way all the time. It's going to work that way in the branding. It's going to work that way in the calendars. It's going to work that way in the website. So just kind of think about that concept as we go on, because it's going to make things a lot easier. Your calendar configuration, right? We've already looked at this. These are all set up, right? But this is how you're going to set up your calendars. For video conferencing, I do have a Zoom and Google Meet, and all of that stuff is set up. For notification settings, notify for all new conversations, notify when a conversation gets assigned to me. So right now, everything should get assigned to me. I don't want a separate notification to that. New messages for a conversation, notify me when I'm mentioned in, and this can be in your app, in email, in text. I don't want text coming to me every time I get an email or every time somebody writes back. I can go in the app and look at the text. I don't need a separate text for that. Because you can't text your client back from your texting app. You have to text them back from the app, right? If you text back from your texting app, it's just going to send that back to the store, not to the client. Notify me for all new messages where I am mentioned. So I've never seen that work. I don't know if it has to go by first and last name or whatever, but it's a good setting to have on, I think. Notify me when a task is assigned to me via app. And also get a reminder, X amount of minutes you can set. So if you have a task, if you set a workflow to set a task, right? Say you need to prepare for an upcoming Zoom call, right? And there's information that you have to go look at that person's information to collect. You're going to want to have a reminder set up so that in your app it says, hey, this is what you have to do, and it's going to remind you 15 minutes before your appointment. Notify me by email when a WordPress service is purchased, right? I don't even know if you can do that one in the app. You can only do it through the email. It's not supported in the other ones. Notify me when a Google or Facebook review is received. You're going to want to know that stuff. I want to get the email about it. I want to get the Google or the in-app notification about it. Opportunities and pipelines. So we're going to talk about this later, but we're going to allow different owners of contacts and their opportunities. So let's see. Automatically make opportunity owner a follower of the contact. I don't know where you would follow them at. So they're not super clear about that part. Let's see. This is done to give the opportunity owner access to the calendar, the contact information. Okay. So you might own a specific opportunity, such as So you might own an opportunity, but what you're going to want to do is each service provider is going to need to be connected with the clients that they need to talk to. In some instances, you're going to be able to set multiple owners of a contact. But this is going to allow that if somebody is slid into a new opportunity, which is something that we can deal with a little bit later, that the service provider of said opportunity also has access to the conversation and the client. Automatically make the contact owner a follower of the opportunity. So what that will do is that if there's a provider that you have that does not have contact, or that does not have, and that service provider does not have access to the opportunity you set up, this will automatically give them access to both the client and the opportunity. Pipelines. So let's create a pipeline. I think this is important, and we're probably not going to really deal with it till later, but what we want to start dealing with is our client journey, right? So you most likely pipeline name. So this is going to be our client journey. There's got to be a more epic name for that. Let's see. Give me a more epic term for client journey. Client Odyssey. No, client journey is better. So, just because I have ideas doesn't mean they're always good. So we're going to do this client journey. Stage name is going to be social or contact made. So this is going to be like if they talk to me on social media, or if they've contacted me in any way, right? So this is just a person that has made contact and they are now in the contacts. This is lead nurturing. This can be outreach. This can be a lot of different stuff. This can be occasional texts, and you can set this up so when somebody hits, if somebody makes contact with you and they get into the contact made category and you say they haven't moved to the next step, right? Then you can add a tag, or there's multiple different things that you can do to move them through this pipeline. Once those people hit this part of the pipeline, that can also be a trigger. So maybe the people made contact, the contact went into your CRM portion of your software, the client relationship management portion. Then you want to make sure that those people get texts once every 2 weeks. Hey man, checking in. Hey, just wanted to see. Hey, I want to make sure you get an email. Maybe they're on your email or marketing list. So you're going to want to nurture those leads so they become familiar with you if they need to become familiar before they buy your product. The next stage is going to be consultation. So maybe they've made contact and they want to make a purchase, or let's say this would be interest shown, right? Maybe they've made comments on posts, or maybe they want to do a consultation or whatever. Next stage we're going to send them to is the consultation stage. And this is going to be different for your business. So think about this. Think about the steps that the clients are making along the way, and set it up accordingly. From the consultation, this is going to be approval. This is approval for both the artist and the client. The client wants to move forward. The artist wants to move forward. Now we're going to do appointments, deposit. The deposit needs to be paid, and the appointment needs to be set. Now in in this business, actually, I probably will not have a deposit. So that was for a different business. So let's say, okay, so maybe you made contact with me online, and then you got a couple messages, and then you showed interest and we set up a consultation. And then from the consultation, you're going to subscribe. And now you have access. So, but now we want to make sure that you are in the 14-day course. So by the time you're watching this, you've already made it through all these steps of my pipeline, right? And then we're going to say, subscriber 14-day course. And you can set these, we can add a pipeline here. So yeah, so let's do this. Okay, we're going to set these as a subscriber and save it. Now we want to create a new pipeline, and this is going to be the 14-day course pipeline. And we want this to be set by day. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And the reason we want to do it this way is we want to make sure that we're keeping track of our clients, right? So in my case, if you go through here and get stuck on day 5 and it becomes 2 or 3 days and you haven't set up yet, right? Maybe you're burning out your trial period or whatever that happens to be for your case. I'm going to want to make contact with those people and see who's getting stuck. So what I can do is trigger a workflow where every time a stage is set in here, it resets a timer. And then if those people get stuck on that stage of the pipeline, after a day or 2 days, we don't want to bother them at first. You start getting messages about, hey, is there anything I can help with? Can I go deeper on any of these topics? So and you can also name these what the stages are. But doing it by the day and limiting it to 14 days will allow me, is going to allow me to go back and have the most flexibility. Oh. Well, hopefully you guys were able to hear that last part. In any event, so now what we're going to do is we've made our other pipeline. Now we are going to make our 14-day course pipeline. Set this to day. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want this stage check in. So what I want to do is trigger a workflow that once a person has made it through all these courses, they are going to get a certificate, and I'm going to check in with them, right? So we can talk about if there's any problems, if I'm missing anything, if I need to brush up anything, if I need to make it better, if I need more light in my videos, anything like that. Save. And so now we have these two different pipelines, the client journey, which was, again, client journey, contact made, lead nurturing, interest shown, consultation, and subscriber. And this is just basically like, your intake, right? And you can set that up. That'll be different for a tattoo shop than a beauty salon. You're going to want to, you can also do things that are post deadline, right? So if a client comes, you're going to want to follow up with people after the fact, and you're going to want to ask for reviews and that kind of things. You can put that all in the pipelines, and you can use triggers to move people through the pipeline. And let's see. as this starts to get populated with people, it will populate and you'll be able to see. So let's see. I think the Montana tattoo company pipelines are all messed up. But here's what I have. Form submitted, artist response, goal, book a tattoo. Is there a deposit? The aftermath, whether I denied them, whether the appointment was canceled. From a walk-in to a booked appointment, we have them in the virtual lobby. That means they made contact on social. Then they fill out a consultation form. Then we're going to book the consultation. Then we offer them to book the consultation. Then they have booked the consultation. Then whether or not they want to go on a wait list. Then whether or not they're going to book the tattoo appointment. If they get a book tattoo, that this is the goal. That's what we want, is the tattoo to get booked, the deposit to get paid. And then magic was made. We had the appointment. So save. Let's see. We don't want to hide this from the chart. Let's see if we can find this. Opportunities. Open opportunities. Wand opportunities. Opportunity value. Conversion rate. Opportunity status. Number of opportunities by groups. Sales efficiency. So there was previously, and I'm sure there is, reporting. Ads reporting, dashboard.